Now, in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can construct a stair in AutoCAD in a 3D model. I'm in my project right now, and what I have here is a top view where this is a courtyard space, and I need to get from an upper level here to the level of the courtyard below. And that's the first thing that I want to start with. I want to determine what the height is and how many risers and treads that I'm going to need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the front view, click here, front, and so basically the height that I need to travel is from here to here. I'm going to type in distance, and I'm going to snap to a couple of points. I have 12 feet of vertical rise. And so what I'll do is I'll take that 12 feet and convert it into inches. So 12 times 12 would be 144. I've got 144 inches that I need to climb. And then the other thing that I will do is to sort of figure out how many risers I need. Is I'll divide that number 144 I'll divide it by 7. Okay. Now AutoCAD has a calculator embedded within it. And what you can do at the command line is type in CAL, and that takes you to the calculator. All right, and it'll ask for the expression, and I'm going to put 144, and I'm going to divide that by 7. Now 7 is a rough riser height, so I'll press enter, and it's going to tell me 20.57 inches or so. So I have an option of either going to 20, and my risers will be a little bit higher, or going to 21 and they'll be slightly smaller. I'm going to go with the smaller one, so I'm going to make 21 risers. Right now, to construct this, I will begin by building this model sort of off to the side. So I'm going to make a line that is from someplace on the ground plane here, and I'll drag my cursor up, make sure ortho is on, and I'm going to input 144 inches. All right, so now I've got this line here. I'm going to take that line and I'm going to shift it over to the side. Okay, so there it is over there. All right, now as I said, I'm going to divide this into 21 parts. So I'm going to type in div for divide. I'm going to select this object, and I'm going to say 21. Right, and it will construct node points at each of those divisions, and I can use that to construct my stair. All right, there's a couple of ways that you could do a straight run stair like I'm proposing. Now again, you could choose some other configuration for your stair. It could be a straight run, which means it just starts at the top and goes to the bottom, or it could be a turnaround stair, it could be a U-shaped stair, it could be an L-shaped stair. You have many, many choices. For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to make this a straight run stair. So it's going to start at the top and it's just going to go directly down. All right, so I have my riser heights, but how do I determine what the treads should be? So what I'll do is, again, I'll use my calculator tool, and I want to know exactly what my risers are. So I'm going to type in this time 144 divided by 21, since I chose 21 as my number of risers. And I get a value of 6.85. That will be my riser height. Now, one rule of thumb is that 2 risers plus 1 tread equals somewhere between 24 and 25 inches. So if I was to go back to my calculator and type in 6.85 times 2, that would give me 13.7, which is 2 risers, right? Now I want my tread, which is the horizontal portion of the stair, to be to allow for that calculation. So as I said, if you add up the 2 risers plus 1 tread, you should get a value between 24 and 25. So let's start with, again, calculator, take in 24, and then minus the 13.7, which was 2 risers. So that would say that my tread would be 10.3. And if I was, to take 25 minus 13.7, I would get a value of 11.3. So basically my tread wants to be somewhere between 10.3 and 11.3 inches. We can round that to 11 and we'll have something that's a little bit easier to work with. All right, now when it comes to the treads, one thing to keep in mind is if I have 21 risers, I'm going to have one less tread, so I'll have 20 treads. So I'm going to come in a little closer here. All right, so if you imagine that this is the top of the surface, the top ground level, I'm going to go to my object snaps and make sure node is turned on because I want to snap to a node point. My very first riser, I'm going to draw a line, is going to go from this end point to my node point. My first tread will be 11 inches. Okay, so now I have a riser drawn and a tread drawn, and I'm going to make a copy of those two and begin to make copies till I have all the way to the ground plane. Okay, so let's zoom over here a little bit, and I'll make a line here as a reference so I know when to stop, and I'll just continue copying these risers and treads till I have them going all the way to the ground, and then I can erase the one that's on the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to take this, I'm going to click on it and drag it back to here. I'm then going to erase all of these node points, and last thing I'm going to do here would be to fillet these two lines. So it looks like I have an extra riser at the top. All right, so my top level will be here, and then I'll have, the stair is going to be one riser short of that top level. Now right now it's constructed out of a series of lines, and my plan is to take this, turn it into a closed polyline, and then give it width. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. I type in pedit, which is short for polyline edit. Click on any one of the lines. Do I want to turn it into one? Yes, I do. And then I'm going to click join and make a closed polyline. Okay, so now, since it's closed, I can extrude it and then move it into my model. Okay, so I'm going to make this stair 4 feet wide. 3 feet would be the minimum. Right, and let's look at it in 3D. There it is, there's my stair. Okay, let's go to top view, and I'm just going to begin roughly placing my stair. I'm going to turn ortho off, and maybe I will align it with the edge of the pool. So I'm going to make a line that is right here and extend it out. Now, one thing I'm going to need to do before I can place this stair into its position is I need to make a hollow space for it to sit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a box that I subtract from this mass around the stair. Right? I'm going to, first of all, let's take a dimension. DIST, 18 feet 4 inches. So I think I will make it a little bit deeper into the space here. I'll make it perhaps 21 feet, this hollow space box, and I'll construct it over here on the side. 21 feet, comma, 4 feet, comma, and we'll make it extra tall. So here I have a box, and now what I can do is move this box using a series of reference points, and I'll turn my ortho back on, slide it to about here. Now let's look at it in the front view to make sure it's where it's supposed to be. Right. Yes, it's going to the ground level where I need it to be. Go back to the top view. Let's look at it in 3D a little bit. Okay, there it is. And we can ignore the stair itself. Right now what I just need to do is, let's change this to conceptual, is subtract that slot So I have a place for the stair to go. So I'm going to use the subtract tool, press enter, and select that box. So now I have this hollow space for the stair to fit. And I will go back to my top view and change it back to 2D wireframe and shift that stair a little bit so it's inside the slot. Let's go back to the front view and check to make sure it's where it's supposed to be, and yes it is. So that's it. Let's take a look at it in 3D. Conceptual view. Orbit around here like so, and there's my stair.